Hello everybody, it's MegapiemanPHD from Pixabyte, and welcome to BrokenEarth Beta. Today with me I have one of the members of the development team, one of the members of teamINOV, Tahir. I was trying to remember what it was. I knew I was going to say that wrong. I apologize for that. But he is here with me today to talk a little bit about his game and to play it along with me. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, teamINOV, and just what BrokenEarth is?
Okay, well, I'm Tahir, basically. I'm the designer programmer on teamINOV. Now, Broken Earth is pretty much just a sci-fi top-down shooter that tries to take the top-down genre a bit more seriously. We do focus on stuff like more competitive aspects, such as how we let our weapons behave and so on. It's not really about being too arcade and so on, right? And we also, one of the main things for us was to take advantage of all the, what would I want to say? Basically, the game isn't limited to a single plane. There's vertical combat. You can jump on roofs. You can pretty much stand on a roof, lay down fire on people below you, and so on and so forth. There's stuff like sprinting. There's physics-based combat. You can reflect rockets, reflect grenades, and so on. And that's just pretty much what Broken Earth is. It's just trying to go back to the roots of what we thought made shooters fun, which is not so much on the achievement and fake way of making a game fun side, but just pure shooting and pure gameplay.
I've played the game for a bit myself. As you can see on the screen here, I'm up to Reputation 4, so I've been able to play the game a little bit itself. And I have to say, I really enjoy what the game does. The last top-down, somewhat serious-ish game that I played, but was still really arcadey, was, I think, maybe Dead Ops Arcade. That was just part of Call of Duty Black Ops, and they didn't really take that. They didn't really take that too seriously, but it was still enjoyable. And I really like what you guys have done with the top-down genre. Try to take a more serious approach with it and making it, instead of just big flat land, you also have your own vertical spectrums. So it's a little bit weird to get used to because you're looking at everything from top down, but I still think that it's a pretty good and unique idea.
Yeah.
So you already have a server up. I will join you and the two other players you have in it, and we can get into showing off the gameplay. Now, how long have you guys been working on Broken Earth?
Well, we last year, March, so we've been on it, say, pretty much a year in development, like hardcore development. Yeah, and it's only two guys, so it's two guys providing all the art assets. I'm the only programmer on the team, so that's pretty much what it is.
Oh, it's only the two of you. It's a lot of work for a two-man team.
Well, we've had some practice in a sense, because we've been working with engines before this and struggling, so we can have an idea of a little stuff here and there when it comes on to letting a game function.
I like the major explosive weapons that everyone seems to be sporting.
Yeah. Well, basically all I did was set the starting weapon to rockets and the secondary to grenade launcher. That was another key thing for me, which is it's your game, so if you want to play it with rockets or swords or whatever, that's your choice, not mine.
Yeah, that was something that I really liked when seeing that. A lot of games these days, if you want to make a server or if you want to have your own custom rules, you have to go through all of the trouble of trying to port forward and all sorts of that kind of nonsense. Whereas with Broken Earth, you can just start up a server by clicking on New Server, set your the map, whatever rules you want it to have. It's a really easy way to make a server and have whatever kind of fun that you want to make out of the game.
Yeah, yeah. So, that was the goal in the beginning, actually. I mean, because I'm a hardcore shooter fan, and I'll be honest, one of my main problems with joining shooters is when I'm in a match and it's just one map being played for like 4 or 5 hours with the same gun, you know. So the key was to let players be able to customize the game mode. So you'll notice when the match is about to end here that when the match ends, we'll be taken to the lobby where players can vote on what weapon they want for the next match, what map, change their starting equipment, and so on.
Right. Yeah, there's a big voting system, so between rounds, you can decide if you want to have like all rocket launchers or if you want to have shotguns, assault rifles. How many different weapons do you actually have in the game currently?
Well, currently it's, let's see, it would be about 11 weapons that are really unique in terms of their roles. And but outside of that, there are the equipment like grenades and shields and drop pods and so on.
Right. You have a lot of weapons in the game already, so I don't know
Well,
if you necessarily need to add a couple more to it, but
okay, let me vote on something here. I'll vote on the bow and let's try the sniper rifle. Okay, so okay, what can I say about new weapons? No, I do really want to add new weapons to the game, but the key goal for adding a weapon to the game is that a weapon has to have a unique purpose, right? It can't just
right.
be, oh wow, another cool machine gun, it looks awesome, should have. No, that's not how it works. The point isn't for the weapon to just be cool for the guy using it, but to be cool for the guy on the receiving end. I mean, if you die to a gun, you want to be able to say, okay, I got outplayed. You don't want to say, oh, it's that gun that killed me, right?
Right, right. I can definitely understand that.
Exactly. As soon as I find, when I look at the gameplay and I see what roles are missing, I will definitely say, okay, fine, I will insert this type of gun here, but it's not just that simple.
Right. 'Cause you guys have pretty much covered all of your bases. I mean, you have a pistol, you have a machine gun, SMG, rocket launcher, grenade launcher, sniper rifle, a bow, plasma sword. So you've got a lot of really cool things in it. Now, one of the things that I definitely do like about Broken Earth is not only do you have weapons and grenades that you can use, you also have the different armor abilities. The armor ability that is my favorite currently is definitely the cloak ability.
Yeah,
I
that you
really love
just
that.
used on me and I can't find you. Ah, crap. Yeah, right.
What were some of the
Well,
ideas behind the addition of the armor abilities, and
well,
what are all of
that's
the ideas that you actually have for them?
well, I mean, basically the idea behind adding the armor abilities was we just needed something that would break up the shooting. So it's not just all 10 minutes of just holding on the trigger. I mean, sure, shooting is fun, but we need something that, and it's a top-down game, right? So
Hmm.
because it's a top-down game, um, basically there are certain things where a player might be able to see you in certain positions that might be considered. Say, for example, a person zooms on you with a sniper rifle. You
Right.
can't necessarily see that guy, but he can track you because they're top down.
Hmm.
So what we needed was abilities that would give you some power in a situation like that. You know, a guy, even if he catches you off guard, you can still go invisible. You can boost out of the way. You can activate your armor or the impulse and so on. So it's about giving you some variety in terms of your options in combat. That was the main goal behind them.
Right. Now, I do want to apologize to people who are watching right now. I seem to be experiencing some weird glitch where I don't have any sound in my
Oh,
game. I don't know if my recording's picking sound up, and I'm just not hearing it, or if I don't have any sound at all. So I'm going to hope that the recording is actually picking it up, and I'm just not
okay.
hearing it because I've never actually experienced that before, and I am right now. So that's kind of weird. But I do like how you did include zooming in for the sniper rifle. I'm showing it off right now just by holding down the right mouse button. You don't go into a scope mode. You actually get to see a little bit farther out and increases your view range of what you're looking at. And I think that's a really cool way to do that instead of just like making everything go black and you have like a little scope on the screen, like I've seen some other games try to do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I said we just wanted to include that also because I believe that it could be balanced. I believe that it could work. There was no reason not to do it, the old zooming in with a sniper rifle. It's just that it's tricky to balance it.
Right.
Right.
Well, one of the things that you guys have definitely done to balance it is you've kind of added I actually can't find any of you guys. You've
I'm
actually
looking.
added you've added sort of a arena shooter aspect to the game by having weapon drops throughout the map instead of having loadouts. So if you don't start with a weapon you're particularly good with, you'll have to see if you can find it and pick it up. That helps balance out people who are really good with one kind of weapon so that they are forced to use other kind of weapons, especially with the voting, so you never necessarily know which weapons you are going to be using.
Yeah.
There you are.
Wow, holy crap. Oh, all right. You know what? That's okay, fine.
Do you guys
Okay.
have any plans to add in any more sort of arena shooter elements, or are you trying to stick to your own sort of genre that you're taking with the top-down approach?
Well, oh, sorry, I just forgot to add a sniper rifle to scan the map with. Wow. Anyways, are we planning to add any new elements, arcade-esque? No, not necessarily. Not to the multiplayer, at least. I mean, to the survival mode, we'll be doing stuff like, say, different type of pickups that you can buy with cash, because in the survival, you have access to a shop, and that's it. For the multiplayer, though, the most we'll go is the ability to use a vehicle. However, I don't really think that falls under being arcade. I'm not sure.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see how vehicles would work from this sort of angle.
Yeah. It
So
takes some balancing,
you're
but we have
looking
some
in
ideas.
expanding on bigger maps instead of the two current multiplayer maps you have in. They're kind of small, self-contained maps, so with adding vehicles, I'm guessing you're working on making a little bit bigger, more robust maps.
Well, yeah, the thing is with the top down, it's not like a third-person shooter or a first-person shooter where you can feel off into the distance. So we do have a limited combat area to work with.
Right.
So what we have to try to do when it comes down to vehicles is we have to be really critical about what vehicle we choose to input and so on. So it's not just, well, just put the fast ass car here. No.
Right.
But we don't want to make maps too huge because we still want player versus player combat to be the focus of the game.
I love that melee. That melee is beautiful.
Okay, I see what's going on here.
So let's talk about the survival mode a little bit. I hadn't really had a chance to talk about it. What were the ideas in throwing a survival mode into this game? And you said that you had some ideas of adding more things to the different upgrades that you can buy in that. Are you planning on maybe adding like bosses or some other elements to the survival modes?
Most definitely. The thing with awesome. The thing with what we're planning to do is, yes, we do want to do bosses and so on. However, they will basically, the way I always see the universe for this game is there shouldn't be a vehicle that exists in the world that the player can't operate.
Right.
Basically means that if the boss happens to be a giant mech that could hold a person inside, then there is no reason for you as the player to not be able to use that vehicle, right? So, but generally if it's a boss character and it's a vehicle, more than likely the player will be able to use it, so it still kind of falls under the vehicle category.
Mm-hmm.
But we do plan to do boss characters in a sense.
Now, along with the co-op mode, it is stated that this game also consists of a single-player mode. Currently, the only single-player aspects that I've seen in the game is the training and playing the co-op by yourself. Do you plan on maybe adding a single-player campaign or any more single-player elements to the game?
Well, it would be lovely. The thing what's going on a bit... Wow, both you guys kill each other?
Yeah, we killed each other at the same
I'll
time.
just take up your stuff. Okay, so single player. What's interesting about that is the resources that we as a two-man team need to make it happen. That's kind of one of the reasons why it's not really in it. But what we're trying to do is add more story elements to the co-op mode, so that it doesn't necessarily just feel like a tacked-on co-op, but you can understand what's going on with the world. You can see what's going on story-wise. So it's single player in the sense of that a single person can play the game and enjoy it and still get a feel for the universe. But I don't, as saying that it's a full campaign and so on, I'm not entirely sure that will be the case. However, there will be like multiple survival maps that you need to clear. So for example, if there are say 3 survival maps, then you need to clear survival map 1 before you're allowed to play on. So it's some form of progression in the same sense. So it will be single player, but in a limited scope.
I see. So one of the things that you guys definitely say that you're really working on is for the co-op your bot AI. That's something that you've been specifically saying that you're trying to make really good bots. And for the most part, I feel that at this point they are pretty good. They do have a tendency to run onto thrown grenades every now and then, though.
You
So.
know, actually, what happened was I turned it down because there was a time when they literally avoided every grenade. Maybe I made it
Hit him a
too
little bit
much.
too smart.
Yeah, I mean, it was annoying for me because like it made grenades useless. Because every time I tossed a grenade, the bots would just walk around it. I'm like, oh, God, bad code, all right? So now I reduced it, and it seems okay. Let me see. So now I reduce it, and I guess maybe I don't know if I made it too easy, but I guess I'll still have to balance it out. Haha,
Oh,
gotcha.
my face. That bow is hard to use, but it is definitely satisfying when you hit something with it.
Yeah, that was one of the points because it's like a one. It's one of the few one-shot kill weapons in the game, so it couldn't be easy to use, right? It had to take some level of mist.
The only other one-shot weapon that I've seen is the plasma sword, which is also very, very fun to use.
Yeah, the thing with the plasma sword also is that you still have to get close to someone. So if a person is relatively decent at the game, it won't really fall under power weapon category, really.
Right. Now, this game does have customizable aspects, different things that you can use to make your characters look unique. As you can see, my character doesn't look anything like Tahir's character or the character of Parkus, the other guy who is in our server. What was the idea behind adding customizable stuff? And I can definitely see where you very easily could have made this game free to play, and you would have to have microtransactions for the different
Yes.
things you find. Actually, I just found a color pack, which is nice.
All right. So okay, let me see. We'll change the map since we don't have that much player in game. So we'll stick to the first map, which is a bit small.
All right, let me just go to the customize section so I can show
You
you
could have
what
done
I'm
that
talking
without
about.
leaving the game. If you
You
looked in
can?
the Yeah, if you looked in the lower left, it said current equipment loadout, and you could click on one and change it. But that's not a problem. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't know that that would actually take me to the customize menu. But
That's
as
okay.
as you guys can see, you have different colors things here that are all cost a certain number of R. I have yet to see how to get more R, but I can see that you guys very easily could have just made these microtransactions and made the game free to play instead of the $9 that it is on Desura. What was your idea behind keeping it all in game?
Okay. Well, all right. First of all, the game is in beta, so that is subject to change.
Right.
However, okay, hold on. Let me go ahead and change the game mode since you're doing that. Let me create another game mode. All right.
I like the computer head.
Okay. So the idea behind let's go with a in between Capture the Flag or King of the Hill. Which one should it go?
King
I
of the
think
Hill would
I'll
be
work
fun.
King of the Hill.
We don't have that many people.
All right, fine. King of the Hill. All right. So the idea behind as I said, the game is in beta, so it's subject to change. We are actually thinking about the free-to-play model. However, the reason why initially I made it all in game was because I don't know, maybe I'm too old school, but I kind of prefer the method where a person pay. I would rather pay one time for a game and then just be able to access whatever I want, right? The free to play model is great. However, it takes a lot of planning to really get it in a way where you can let players enjoy the game on a level that you want, because we wanted the game to be where a person could just pick it up, go right ahead, pick his gun, jump in, and have fun. So we kind of went with that model, the direct model first. But we're seeing where the free-to-play model can actually be implemented in a way that it won't break our initial goal. So we're thinking about it. But
All right. Because the only thing that I would say that would be a little bit iffy if you did go free to play is the fact that you would have to pay money for equipment. But by keeping all of this cosmetic stuff, if you do decide to go that route, just making so that cosmetic stuff would be extra, but anybody who wants to play the game could play the core part of the game. That's really, in my opinion, the right way to do free to play if that is what
free
you
to
guys
play.
decide to do.
That's true, it is, and that's why I said we are looking into it. We aren't against it. So, I mean, currently you can play the game freely. That's one thing to note. I mean, you can play it. You can whether you get the download or you can play it free at BrokenEarth.net in the browser, and you'll still have access to playing all game modes and playing on this map that you're seeing now. The courtyard map, or the map that you're on now. So you'll still be able to play the game and have fun. However, if you want to customize your character and change your abilities and so on, then you need to make a purchase. So it still is limited in a sense. You still can play the game freely if that's what you want.
Yeah. As you can see there, the other person who is in our game currently is set up as a guest, so you can play free as a guest. You don't get to customize your character. You don't get to save your levels, of course, because you don't have an account. And the other thing that I've seen is if you create a server, you don't have all of the options for creating a server available to you. Let's swap over here to the plasma sword, see if I can get anything done with that. But other than that, it seems like a very good way to test the game out and see if it's something that you're definitely interested in. And I definitely find it interesting that you made that version available to be played in your browser. There's not many games that necessarily do that. I've seen a couple games try to do that, but it was interesting to see this one try to do that.
Basically what happens is people hate really. I would believe that most people hate downloading stuff. I mean, the fact about downloading something, installing it, and all of that stuff. So it's not that we can't do that. We can. However, we realize that a lot more people are likely to try the game when we do have it running in a browser, because it's really easy to get it started. Just click on a link and you're playing within no download, no install, anything like that.
Right. So and if you end up not liking it, you don't have to worry about trying to uninstall it.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about files on your computer or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think about where these random dudes download and sending a file to your PC claiming to developers.
Yeah, there are some people who really get particular about having files all over their computer. Now, you guys are working on Unity, an engine that has been gaining a lot of popularity in the indie market. What was some of the decisions behind going with... Oh, we killed each other, I think.
Yeah, we did.
You killed yourself. Wow. What were some of the ideas by going with Unity as opposed to something like Unreal or even the Source engine?
Well, I guess Unity has been pushing a lot towards the independent developers. I mean, they provide a lot of systems that are really indie friendly. It's really easy to get assets in, artwork. I don't think it's a really indie friendly engine. I mean, UDK, it is a good engine. It's a good looking engine and so on, but it's a bit daunting for most independent developers to get into all of what it offers right away. I mean, it is an engine that we looked at. We also did look on several other indie like Torque and so on and so forth, but Unity seemed to provide most of what we needed for the type of game that we wanted to make. So that was really the decision behind it, the idea behind the decision made.
That makes a lot of sense. I've heard from a couple people that Unity has been very easy to work with. There was a guy who I interviewed who had been working on a game for a while, and once he was working in CryEngine 3, and once he switched over to Unity, he was able to make everything he had made previously in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah. I've heard that Unity's definitely been pretty popular and pretty easy to work with. Mir.
Okay, no, I don't think so.
Oh! Nice.
I didn't expect that. Wow. Okay, fine.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Forgot you know how to play the game.
So I did.
I'm used to guys. Well, wow, that would never come out right. I'm used to players chasing me with swords. However, I never really get any of them that activate their speed ability yet. So normally I just lead them around the map, then corner them and kill them. But yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah, that's that's kind of the thing that I guess I can't really say that your game has a problem with having a small community. It's kind of expected considering that the game is still in beta and that it is still new. But for anybody who is interested in picking up the game either by playing it free on the website or I just killed myself.
Well,
or buying the game on Desura, that is something that the game is struggling with a little bit at the moment by having a small community. Hopefully this video will help to branch that community out, but I definitely feel that the game itself, it's definitely, it's a well-made game, it's a fun game, and I think that once people really know that it exists, there will be a nice big community for you guys.
yeah. We're pretty confident in it in terms of its gameplay. It's just that being a top-down shooter, it's kind of a niche genre in a sense because generally most hardcore gamers don't really go for the top-down genre. They assume it's more what you would say casual, doesn't really require any form of skill. They would assume, I mean, the first thing that would come to a person's mind is how can you make a top-down shooter require skill to play? But I don't think games that require skill is determined by the genre that they choose to make, but more by the mechanics. So, I think they'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I definitely think that once people try the game, they will definitely enjoy it. The big thing that you were saying before is that being a top-down game, some people, they might actually be afraid of it, not necessarily sure, like, oh, they'll kind of, like, roll their eyes at it and be like, sure, this game promises all this kind of stuff, but it probably won't deliver. But I have to say that definitely don't let that kind of stereotype of top-down shooters, don't let that sway your decision for playing this game. It is definitely a lot of fun once you get into it, and it only gets better the more that you play it. Now, I did show off, when I was showing off the different customization things, the equipment that you could get. Unfortunately, I didn't know that that equipment existed before I spent all of my points. What are some of the things that are in that equipment? Those are things that will replace your grenade slot. What are some of the other things that are in there outside of just the grenade?
There's the regen, which pretty much is more team-oriented. Basically, it just heals the players within a radius. The thermal grenade, which sets players on fire, deals damage over time. There's the drop shield, which pretty much you can activate it at any time, and it will pretty much negate any incoming attack in front, well, wherever you deploy it, pretty much. There's the sonar, which once you place it somewhere, anyone that enters that area will be highlighted on your radar, on your team's radar. The jump pad, which is, wow, okay, thanks.
Don't worry, I got it.
Avenged. Okay, so the jump pad, which is, what the jump pad does is, it's pretty self-explanatory. You tough it, you step on it, you pretty much you fly into the air. What's cool about the equipment and pretty much every object in the game, which I don't think most people will notice right away, is they were designed to be dynamic, like physics-based. Meaning, for example, the jump pad doesn't push. It doesn't push a character up into the air. It's not just limited to that. You can use it defensively, like if you place the jump pad on a slope, then any player that hits that jump pad will be pushed into the direction that the jump pad is facing. So we've had tests where I'll be playing against my teammate and he'll place a jump pad on a step and I'll be running up there and I get kicked off into the back to where I was coming from, and so on. You can do stuff like drop the shield, then use your rocket to shoot the shield and have the shield hit someone to get a kill. So there's a lot of hidden stuff that isn't like obvious on the surface. But it was like a key part of our design structure.
That's pretty cool how you actually have all those little things thrown in there with reflections and all that different kind of stuff that you can actually learn about and find that you yourself wouldn't, somebody just randomly playing the game wouldn't necessarily know until they either see somebody else do it or they themselves accidentally do it.
Yes, definitely. That was the idea. The idea was to be simple on the surface, easy to pick up, but once you invest time in it, you realize that, wow, you know.
So for the last little bit here, do you want to show off a little bit of the co-op campaign? We can go for the survival a little bit until then we can call that.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. Let me get some accessories here and see what I want to go into this battle with.
All right.
Okay, I think I'll go with the sticky grenade.
I'm going to switch out my module and try out the Impulse module. I do like that you have the multiple modules in here. They're really cool. I talked about that a little bit earlier, and I definitely like how there's no clones of them. Each one themselves is very different and works in their own manner, and plus they also change how your character themselves look.
Yeah. It was a key thing. I mean, the key thing was to not have clones of pretty much anything in the game. I mean, none of our guns are cloned of another gun. I mean, sure, an FMG and an assault rifle are both rapid fire weapons, but if you are at range, your FMG isn't going to win, and if you're close range, your assault rifle isn't going to win. So they have different purposes.
Although I did see that I think there's a sniper rifle that has a red light, and then there is a sniper rifle that has a green light. I think those are two different weapons, but they seem to work pretty similarly.
Oh, well, one is the combat rifle. Well, the combat rifle and the sniper rifle. Basically, the sniper rifle is a 4-shot weapon. It kills in 2 shots, and it's pretty long range with a slow fire rate. So it really is a sniper rifle. The combat rifle is about half that range in terms of its zoom, and it kills in 5 shots and at a little bit faster rate. So it still serves different purposes. Like one's a medium range and one's a long range weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know when you have the server up, and
okay. All right.
All right. Let's go to join game.
Hold on. Let me get this thing up. All right, fine.
Oh, I thought you said you had it up.
Oh, sorry, my bad. All right. You can join now.
All right. I do like how you did decide to throw a co-op mode in there, and it definitely shows that it's not something that's just thrown in there just to be thrown in there. You actually put a lot of work into making it work with like bots that we talked about earlier, and with the fact that even though it's all based around points, you get points for both killing people as well as picking up the different canisters from these pump things.
Yeah, the extractors, yeah, that's true.
So it's definitely designed to work together because I believe points from the canisters are shared, but points from the kills are not.
Yeah, points from canisters are shared, but points from kills are yours. So it kind of, the idea behind that is for you to want to actually defend someone that's carrying a canister, not just say, oh, well, I'm trying to rack up points. It's like you can have a defensive type of play.
Right, definitely to work together instead of trying to work by yourself. Although I have found that if you have from this guy, if you use the invisibility and then pick the canister up, you can pretty much run all the way back by yourself.
Yeah, there are still some balance issues. As I said, we're still pretty much work in progress. So we are tweaking stuff. We're tweaking the AI. I mean, the AI for me is a big thing. I mean, they aren't where I want them to be yet, but the idea behind them is that I don't try to let the AI be realistic. That's not the goal. The goal isn't to say, wow, all right, stuck him. All right, the goal isn't to say, how can I make the AI feel human? No, the goal is, what would a player do if the players are in the same scenarios that the AIs are in? So for example, if you throw a sticky grenade at an AI, he might sprint at you to make sure that you die with him, right? They'll activate their impulse, their speed, they'll camouflage just like everybody else, and so on. They won't stand in place and let you shoot them. They'll strafe, they'll sprint at you, and so on. So the idea is just to make them interesting enough to combat. I mean, I don't know if I'm there yet. I mean, feel free to say what you think about them and any, what you'd say, what's bad, but yeah.
Well, I think I don't really have anything personally that I could say that's necessarily bad about them. I like how things leveling up. I do believe that they do stack with how many people are in the game. So if you have more than one person, you'll go up against more enemies. I don't know if it changes the composition of what enemies, but I have been able to tell that you'll definitely go up against more if you have 2 or 3 people than when you have one person.
Yeah, basically the number of AI changes when the number of people in the map. I don't do any artificial things like increase damage, or because what I did is a gun, right? And a pistol being fired by well, this is a bad example to use, but if I'm an unexperienced person firing a pistol or I'm an elite firing a pistol, it's still a pistol, it still deals the same damage, right? So basically, the guns will always operate the way that they do operate. They always deal the same damage. It's just that the AI might use them better depending on the wave and the number of players.
Right. Is the only thing that I do like how you don't have the enemies necessarily. The weapons always act the same. You just get enemies with more armor, or you get smarter enemies as you go. You don't get enemies that just, they're the same. They just do a little bit more damage.
No. A pistol will, like, in wave 1, if it takes 5 shots to kill you in wave 1, it's still 5 shots to kill you in wave 10. Right, it doesn't change. It's just that in wave 1, an AI might be a little less accurate. And in wave 10, you'll more likely lay those 5 shots on you. So basically, it's just the skill of the AI that changes. Is this not artificial things?
Oh, geez, that guy's running at me. Is this this jump pad down here by the plane? Is that the jump pad that you were talking about that you could throw down with the equipment earlier?
No, I don't think it is. That one is limited to the map. You can activate it by spending some points.
So the one you were talking about earlier was actually a completely different model.
An equipment that you have to, that's a total equipment that you have to. Let me see if I can activate this jump pad.
I do want to mention something I haven't mentioned yet before, but every time that you kill somebody, they do drop these little green balls they're either health or ammo. I know that there's sometimes health. I think that there's sometimes also ammo. I think it's randomized.
No, it's not ammo. It's what happened? Well, because every AI that dies drops weapons, so it's easy to think that you're picking up ammo because, as I said, every AI that died will drop his gun and you can take that up and whatever. But in multiplayer, like player versus player, a player will drop the equipment that he's wearing. So if, for example, you're wearing the top hat now, right?
Yeah.
All right, fine. So when you die, basically what will happen is that you will drop a piece of that top hat. And if I call it 5 pieces, then I unlock that top hat. Basically, that's how it works. So
so that's what, because in the last match, I killed you or the other guy, and I picked up Skull and Crossbones foreground.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was wondering what that was about because it just randomly appeared on the screen. So that's kind of cool. How even if you can't afford something yourself, you can still work on collecting to find it.
Yeah,
that's a cool little aspect. How is it though that you get more points to buy things? That is pretty much the only thing that I have not been able to figure out.
Oh well, yeah. Maybe that's a lack of communication on our end in what to do. So we need to work on interface. What happens is when you pick up items in the game, you have 2 options. You can either claim them, which is what we just talked about, like you collect the pieces, or you can sell them. So when you sell them, that's where you get points.
So you can't you don't earn points by winning matches or getting kills. The only way to get points is from selling.
Only by the items that you find and when you sell them, basically.
Okay. That makes sense. Let's see if I can get another canister here, and I might actually be able to throw a turret down.
Oh well. I'm running away from 2 dudes right now.
I've definitely noticed that a huge key to surviving in survival are sentries.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, later on when we do add vehicles, it might change. We might work on the turret somewhere and balance it out. But they really are the power weapons currently.
Yeah, I think the match that we played before we actually knew who each other was, because we did play a match, which was kind of interesting. We had like 4 or 5 sentries at once, so it's I died. It's nice. It's interesting to see that that you're not limited to a certain number of sentries. If you have enough points, you can get it. If you have enough points, you can get as many respawns as you want. You can get as many of any of the upgrades.
Yeah, it's just a matter of balancing to make sure it's not too easy to get points, but we don't see a reason why you should have cash and not be able to spend it. I mean, it's just on our end to balance stuff so that the game doesn't crash if you spawn too much stuff.
Yeah, you don't want an entire map just to be just caked in sentries.
Yeah.
Now the wave did change. Did I respawn because of that?
Well,
do you respawn a wave change, or because Because I know I didn't buy a respawn.
There's two ways to respawn. You can, on the wave change, you respawn freely, but if you want to respawn in the wave, you have to pay for it, basically.
I see. That is, if you die, it's 60 points, whereas otherwise it's 100 points to pick up a respawn.
No, I said if the wave ends, you respawn freely.
Yeah, I'm just saying, buying the respawns.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true.
If you died 60, otherwise you have to pay 100 for them. So you were saying that you guys have ideas for different upgrades you can get. Currently, the upgrades are all drop-ins outside of the respawn. You have a health drop-in that will heal you as long as you're near it, an ammo drop-in that'll give you ammo as long as you're near it. The sentry, of course, the respawn. What are some of the other ideas for things? I know you mentioned vehicles, but are you going to have the vehicles in the buy menu, or what are some of the ideas for things in the buy menu?
Well, basically what we're planning to do with the vehicles is... Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm kind of getting my ass kicked here.
These guys are really pushing.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, talking and playing is a bit annoying. Okay, so for the other equipment, what we're planning to do is, let's say, more team-oriented stuff. Right? I'm not exactly sure what they'll be yet. I said we don't just shove clones of stuff in it. We're not going to just put something just for the sake of having it. It has to really complement gameplay in a way that nothing does now. So we know vehicles are one thing, but we're actually looking into something like support drops. Like, for example, we have these extractors that spawn that create these canisters, right? That you have to sell to get points. Now, what we're going to do later on is have the AI actually try to shut down these extractors.
Well, that would be interesting.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And what you'll have to do as a player now is you may have to purchase support items to get them back online and so on. That aircraft that you see at the start of the match, we actually may also have plans for it. We're not going to hold on to this though, but we might have plans for it in terms of gameplay. In terms of having the aircraft take off and do some covering fire and so on. But we don't know where we're really going with stuff. It really depends on the support that we do get, because we are limited in resources, as I said.
Right. Now, did this game have a Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign or something, or did you guys are pulling this out of your own pockets at this current time?
Well, for the most part, it really was out of our own pockets. I mean, we aren't resided in the US, so we did look at the Indiegogo thing. However, I don't think we pushed much effort into it. I don't think, maybe that was a wasted opportunity, but basically we started it and it was like, we were still working on the game so much that we didn't really have the time to focus on marketing. We just, as I said, as two guys working on the game, it's really tricky to know when to devote time and to what. So, basically, it's just our effort in a sense, my artist and me in a sense.
All right. One of the biggest troubles with running an Indiegogo campaign that I've seen is you've got to be on PR all the time.
Exactly, and that's something that we really don't have. It's really difficult because, as I said, it's a multiplayer game. It's not like a single-player game. So when you start working on it, you have to be on it consistently. And providing art assets. You might want to get out of there.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I need to get some ammo because I was out.
Oh, okay. Spawning something here. Hold on, wrong button. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Dropping ammo. Yeah, I should have dropped weapons instead. Alright, dropping weapons.
Now we've got a little bit of a break here. Something that I do want to show off is that if you go to your options and graphics section, you do have the ability to play this game in third person. Now, I found that the third person, it needs a little bit of work control-wise. The guy's a little bit hard to control, but
yeah.
What was the idea behind throwing that in there, and is that something that you're going to continue to work on, or...
It's really just a concept. It's pretty much what do you guys think about this? Yeah, sorry. It was really what do you guys think about this? Do you think it's interesting enough mode? So it really is there for feedback reasons. We really don't know where we're going with it yet and how long it will be in the game.
I think it's kind of interesting to be able to switch between the two of them. At this point, I don't really see a reason to play in third person, but I do think that if the controls are worked on a little bit, it can
Oh,
definitely.
we might want to get out of here. There's a shotgun in the car. So
Oh, we
good
don't have
luck.
the jump pad activated. Crap. Oh, we're gonna be stuck. This guy's trying to melee me. This melee's hurt.
You died?
No,
Well, I
I'm
guess
still
you're
alive.
about to
Still
be.
alive. Ah, now I'm
Well,
dead.
yeah, I can't get back there. Sorry. How much cash do you have?
I believe I bought a respawn, but it's not letting me respawn.
You did?
Yeah.
Really?
I clicked the buy respawn button, but it's telling me I have no lives. This is something that I've seen happen before a little bit. So, you guys, people watching, definitely need to remember that this is a beta. So, it's a game that is still being worked on. So, if there's a couple bugs you run into every now and then, those are still being worked on.
Yeah, I think this is the end of it. I don't know how I'm going to.
I
I
think
would love to get.
I read that you guys were saying on one of your pages that most players make it to like round 6 if they're lucky.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the co-op's no joke. It's definitely out there to kill you.
Oh my god, yo, I need to get out of here. Yeah, the co-op, the idea was, and it's not really, you don't die to wave 6 because we amped up their damage and their health, no, or the number of them. It's just that at wave 6 they're going to use the weapons like the weapons were meant to be used. So you're gonna have grenades coming at you and so on. So it's a little more tricky. Let's see if I can get multiple of them in one shot with this bow.
Oh, that'll be
Can I?
interesting.
I don't think I'm gonna get it. I got one.
The bow will actually go through more than one player.
The bow will kill everything it touches before it hits a wall. So if there's 50 guys standing still, it will drill through them.
So it's not something like the bow and arrow from a game like TF2 where it'll get stuck in the first weapon that oh, you just hit like 3 people in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
That is awesome.
All right, so you can respawn now because I made it to the next wave.
All right. Let's see how far we can get going here. I don't know how much farther we're going to get. I could keep having to using all of my points to respawn.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I only have 85 levels. I don't think I can make it to the canister and get him. You I don't know if you want to carry a canister and let me cover you.
I can do that. I can do that.
No, I don't think you can do that. I think that
Oh
was,
yeah, we'll have to wait till the lower thing on the
yeah, let's get out of
yeah,
here.
okay.
I'll cover you. Get out. Let's run. Ah, crap.
The only thing that I found in the co-op that I feel is a little bit cheap is that if you knock down all but one last wave, you can then outsmart the AI by just running around and grabbing the
Yeah,
canisters.
yeah, that's true. It's still something to be tweaked and decide where we're going with it. I am aware of it though.
Alright.
Basically, I'm thinking that I'll put a timer on it when it becomes a certain number of enemies. But the thing is, since we're planning to have enemy that attack the generator, the extractor, it would be kind of stupid for you to have one AI alive while you
Right.
run around because you'll be destroying your stuff instead of chasing around that they currently do. So it really does fall down to the fact that the game isn't finished.
I think I just shot a guy all the way up into outer space. He went straight up.
Where are you? I think we need to stick together.
I am right next to you, trying the best I can not to die. Now that the white guard guys have showed up. I definitely have to say that I like the fact that the bots use everything that players use. There's nothing that they have that you don't have except for the armor.
Yeah. Oh, they do use abilities. We're just lucky.
Yeah.
But they do go invisible and alright, I can buy a respawn. I'm coming back in. They do use all the abilities. They use camo. They use shield. They use impulse.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's a really cool aspect to have to them. So I personally really like that.
I mean,
And-
they are generally the opposing team that you can play as in the team mode. So it'd be kind of weird that they don't use what they can use. You know,
right.
we don't really want to have this divide between AI and player. We want to just treat the game as faction versus faction. So this is the equipment that they have, and whether it's an AI or a player using it, both of them should be able to use everything.
Since you are working so hard on AI, are you thinking of sometime in the future maybe having online or offline bots that you can either practice against or that you can play against in the main servers?
Well, basically, what would I say about that then? Um, you can play the game offline now in a sense, but it's not. You can play the survival mode offline.
Right.
For the most part. As for multiplayer bots, though, that's something that we'd love to have, but it also falls into the limited resource stuff, the time that it would take to make. Yeah, we will get there, but it really depends on support from people playing the game and the amount of sales we get and so on. But we would love to continue working on it.
Right, because the AI you have here is pretty good, but this map then again is specifically designed to work around the AI, whereas
Yeah.
some of the multiplayer maps they're designed to work around actual physical players.
Players, yeah, exactly. AI will tend to. Or let me see if I can get this canister back.
Go, go! I believe you can make it. Your character seems to run a little bit faster than mine, I think.
Might be an issue with. I said that we might need to do some tweaking in regards to bugs and so on. All right, fine. I think that killed a couple dudes there. Let's see if I can spawn something interesting. Please give me something good with this job weapon.
So,
here.
what are the sort of killing spree and genocide things that pop up on the screen when you get a lot of kills? And the announcer I could actually say something. I apologize if you can't hear it because I do have that weird sound thing where my sound's not playing. Hopefully, it's recording sound. I'm just not hearing it. If it's not recording sound, there is an announcer in the game. What is that exactly, and does that do anything? Like, do you get more points for getting a genocide emblem, or is that just sort of at this point just for show?
Well, at the moment it is for show in a sense, but it's a bit below that also. It's also in the sense of it's just to reward you for doing good in combat. I mean, it's basically a reward, but it's not a reward that's trying to be, oh, dude, you just got a double kill. Here's 50 million points to buy a new gun. No, it's dude, you did good while playing. I'm just telling you that you did good while playing. Great, now try again, right? Mm-hmm. So the idea is just to reward you for playing well, but it's not really to like give you, say, points and stuff. Wow. I think I'm on my last life here because I don't think I can get.
Oh, the red guys have shown up.
Yeah, I see him. I don't know what I can do against that. I don't have any.
I think we had another player actually join, unless he
died. He died immediately. Like, okay.
So the game does have a leveling system, although at this point I haven't seen. Oh, a grenade!
Okay.
Yeah, the game does have a leveling system. I haven't seen that it unlocks anything. Does the leveling system actually affect anything as of right now?
The leveling system currently, the main thing that it does is for each time you level up, you should receive some cash. All right. If you don't see that happening, then it might be a bug on our side. But every time you level up, you do get a reward, a cash reward.
Yeah.
Right?
I personally have not received any cash from leveling up.
Okay, then we definitely need to write that down and tweak it. But the key thing to it is really just to show that you've been playing the game. And saying it's a reputation. The idea behind it is being more reputation. It's rewarded for winning and so on. Not necessarily just killing dudes over and over again. The point is that it's to give a representation of you as a player compared to a person playing as a guest and so on. But there are more stuff which isn't taken full advantage of, so that's a problem on our end. But all this stuff is being worked on, really.
Right. Well, I think we've shown off pretty much anything. Is there anything in specific that we haven't covered that you would like to say?
Let me see. I think we've covered most of them. The only thing I think we didn't really spend much time on was what the actual abilities are, but I think we showed enough of them.
Yeah, I've been periodically switching between the 4 abilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have the cloak, you have this jump thing that I have, you have one that gives you resistance to damage,
You know, the
and
funny thing
you
is
have the
that
speed.
the jump thing, that's not its purpose. That's just a side effect of what it actually designed to do. Basically, what it does, the impulse, the one that pushes the shockwave, what it's designed to do is repel any physical object in a radius, so it will push a player back. So where are you? So that I
I'm
can
up here at the
find you.
top canister.
Okay, fine. I'll come up there for a second just to show you something. That's you. All right, fine. So basically, if you were to jump, so basically what it does is it pushes a player back.
Oh,
And
I
it, so
see.
exactly. So if I'm running towards you and you activate it, I will actually get shoved back. So if it will reflect a rocket. So if a person fires a rocket your direction, you can repel it back at them. Grenades, most things except regular bullets. The only thing is that because it pushes physical object, it actually pushes your player also, which wasn't intended, but we realized that it was extremely useful, so we just kept it in.
That's pretty cool, because the only thing was able to see from the start is that it made me jump. I didn't necessarily notice that
Yeah,
it would
exactly.
actually
Exactly.
move
That's one of the things where
projectiles.
we need to get more weapons in and more use. Let the purpose of it highlight more because it's really useful when it comes down to projectile weapons, rockets, grenades, and so on. And outside of that, you don't really see the purpose shine much.
There
So we're
was
still
some.
working on that.
Our teammate was just had a green aura around him. Was that a glitch, or was that something that he was
Green
specifically using?
aura. You sure that green aura, that red aura that you're seeing now?
No, he had some sort of green glowy stuff
Oh,
around him.
I think he's using. Maybe you're seeing the regen grenade. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there it is again.
Yeah, exactly. That's a regen grenade, and basically it's pretty useful for this team mode because anyone standing in that will receive some health.
All right.
So we're still looking into items that do more of this. Oh, that to be honest, that guy is my teammate. He just joined, and I don't know if it would make sense. It's probably wrapping up now, so it wouldn't make much sense getting a word in. But yeah, he's the guy playing now, running with the canister in front of you. The artist of teamINOV. So yeah.
I do have to say that the game really it works well together. Everything seems to work together. Everything seems to fit in this sort of space-ish, future-ish world that you've made. And I definitely recommend that people should try out. People who are I know that you've made this game specifically designed so that people who are really into FPSs would enjoy it. I'm
Yeah.
not super huge in FPSs. I play like Team Fortress 2, but that's about it. So, and I've enjoyed it, so people who are into FPSs will probably enjoy it. People who aren't into FPSs will probably enjoy it. I definitely recommend that you guys check this out. You can either buy it for $9 on Desura, or you can play the free version on BrokenEarth.net. You can also, you don't need to make an account to play. You can play by logging in as a guest, play for free, try the game out, and if you like it, then you can pick it up again for $9 on Desura.
Also, let me just add that the game is currently available on Gamersgate. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe I can provide a link for that.
Is that's the same price that is on the server? I love how you can just hit people with grenades. You don't have to blow up. You just hit them.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
the same price?
Same price? It should be the same price. I mean, it's relatively close. It's not a drastic difference. I mean, it should be the same. Yeah, it should be the same price. I'm pretty sure it is. It might be a 50 cents above or below, but it's generally the same.
Yeah, 'cause I think on Desura it's like $8.99, which is basically $9.
Yeah, that's relatively the similar price on Gamersgate.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tahir, for joining me.
And thank you also.
Yeah, but definitely recommend checking the game out. teamINOV has definitely put a lot of work into this title, and I'm interested to see what you guys do in the future. Thank you guys for watching. I have been Megapieman for Pixabyte. For more indie game news, reviews, and anything indie games, please check us out at pixabyte.tv. And if you are interested in what you see, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.